God damn it, Marshall, quit hitting on Landon. Hey, everybody, how you doing? Welcome to the Morning Wood. It took us a little bit to get up and get ready for the show. We had to take our Viagra, and well, Landon did anyway. Look how old he is. He's really old. But he's kind of the star of today's show, though, because today's show is about traveling, bad vacations, bad trips, whatever. However, it's also about the beautiful place we call the Earth. And Landon has been to a lot of fucking places. We're going to talk about that in a minute. He's like a travel master. So he's like the star of today's show. And of course, never a star of any show. We have Red Eye.
Yes, that's right.
And the star of his own show in his mind, Marshall Manson.
Hello.
Well, that was very depressing. Hello.
Today, dude, I woke up about 10 minutes ago.
Well, goddamn, drink a Monster or something.
I'll do that for you.
You'll do that for me. He's do that for you. It's kind of sexy. Kind of turns me on a little bit.
I'll do it for you.
I reckon a butt booping would wake him up.
I love looking at my chat room because I always see pretty women talking in my chat room. It's awesome. I think I have, even though I have a small audience, I always have the best women. It's just great. Anyways, hello, everybody. I hope you're doing well. Announcements. Not really a lot. The flag thing is still going. It ends Monday at the end of the Morning Wood show. So if you want to get your bets in, if you want to get your tips in, please do so. There has been, I think, what's his name? Finn's going to be making a big bump in his tip bid today. So, yeah. And next week, as far as next week, I want to make a little. I am working on a couple of guests. Magog has said he's going to come on. If you know who Magog is, he's a great YouTuber. Not sure what days exactly. I'm thinking probably Tuesday, but we have to work on that. Maybe have Nate Talks to You again on next week. And a couple other people I'm working on. So we'll see what happens there. Other than that, as always, at the end of the show, we'll have Q&A and tip sessions. And so, yeah. Anyway, I just kind of introduced the cast already, the panel or whatever. So we're just going to talk about traveling today, kind of an open discussion about, cool places. First off, how many countries have you been to, Landon?
The last count was 75, although I think I may have missed one of them going through. But, that's a small portion of the somehow 220 spots, but I'm working on it.
75,
Give me time.
though. Goddamn, that's a lot of fucking places, though.
But when I was really small, my grandmother made me promise that I would not wait till her age to see the world.
Yeah.
And so, promised my grandma, I went out and I'm seeing the world. I'm trying to do it. The problem is that we got a big world, big round world, and you got to go around it.
No, it's flat. It's flat. Don't lie.
So, but Pimpmunk, you've been traveling. Although we got to get you outside the United States soon.
Yeah, I've traveled all over the states. I've been pretty much. There's a few places I hadn't been, but pretty much all over the states. But no, I've never been out of country yet. But that's going to change next year. But I've been all over the state. I'll talk about a few of those trips after a while. What about you, Red Eye? Have you done a lot of? I know you haven't been out of Australia, but maybe you have. Hell, I don't know. But have you done a lot of traveling in your country?
Not that much, come to think of it. I've travelled probably the furthest south I've travelled is Canberra. Furthest north would be Cairns, and the furthest west would be a really, really lovely spot. And I'm saying that so sarcastically, it's not funny. A place called Mungandai, of all fucking places. And yeah, it's as good as it sounds.
Mungandai?
Mungandai.
Oh, Mung. Okay, there's like Mungandai, like somebody gonna rob your ass.
That's what's fun about Australia is the names of some of the places. They have fun with their place names.
This place is like about 10 hours drive west of me on the New South Wales Queensland border, and we used to stay at a place called the 2 Mile Hotel because it was about 2 miles north of town, which was on the New South Wales side of the border, which was the river, but the policeman was deputised in Queensland so he could patrol out the pub because It was a pub out west, and I've seen things that no child should see. And yeah,
well,
people
we're going to
out
talk about
west-
some.
So when you talk about 10-hour drive, how much of that is on a sealed road, and how much of that is just like going places?
that was all on sealed road. Now,
Wow.
when I say sealed road, I do mean it was big enough for a truck and half a car. So here's the deal out west when you're driving on the roads, and this is what happens when it's wet. If it's wet and you see a truck coming, you pull off the road and you get bogged. Done and dusted. But what will happen is that truck driver will stop, hook a snatch rope up to you and pull you straight back out, because that's the code of it. If you make the truck pull off and he gets bogged, he's there for days waiting for the machinery to come and get him out, and he may potentially murder you. So you always pull off the road, get bogged, truck will pull you out on the rainy roads, but you always get the hell out of the road of those road trains.
Yeah.
You don't fuck with them.
Well, we're going to talk about all that, but Marshall, have you traveled a lot? I know you're the youngest amongst us, and
I'm not too well traveled. The only time I've ever been outside of the U.S. was on a cruise to the Caribbean when I was younger. But I have been, when I was maybe like 10 or so, my aunt lived in Washington, and we had to fly out there and get in moving trucks and drive all her shit back to Georgia. So that's straight across the country.
it's a good ride.
Yeah, it took forever.
So you got to see a lot of the country, though.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's not quite the same when you're just driving through a country, but, I got to see some cool shit.
Yeah, a lot of my travels have been by bus. Everybody knows that, and some people want to make fun of that. I don't care. I've seen some badass cool shit because of on the road like that. Some very cool shit, and you can really get to see America that way on the road. It's hard to see some of the things from an airplane that you can see from the road. It just
That's
really
true,
is.
Yeah.
Like, I had never even seen a desert until then.
Yeah.
One of the things that is great about travel is to learn about yourself. And when you go to places that are different, where they have their own society, their own way of doing things, and you pay attention, right, to what people do and how they do it, you find, oh, I thought everyone did it that way. That's kind of fun. And in fact, that practice of learning about myself and what's unique about the area that I live in, you can go places. And even, I'm not talking about exotic spots. I mean, you can head out to Mississippi and find a whole different world, right, than non-Mississippi, as an example, right?
Yeah,
I'm not saying they're bad or good, but
it's
stuff is
true.
different. But you gotta listen, look, touch, feel, pay attention.
Yeah, it's absolutely true. I didn't know how different a world I lived in until I started traveling and just around the other states. Like, here's the thing, that one of the big things that I realized: everybody's not so friendly as we are. We're very friendly people like us. Well, Landon's niece, her boyfriend, fiance, I don't know if they're still together or whatever, but at the time I met him, he said the friendliest place he ever been to was Tupelo, Mississippi. He's from Seattle. And see, everybody don't walk like, I can walk down the street and walk past a stranger and we both say hello.
Yep.
That don't happen in LA. And when first time I started traveling, I'd be like, hi. Everybody look at me like I'm fucking weirdo. I'm like, oh shit, something's different here.
But then when you came out to California, you found that not everyone has the kind of hair that you do.
Yeah, dude. I see everybody like a Crayola box is basically what in California. That's the most colored hair I've ever seen in my life. The first time I went to California, I was like, it's like I wanted to pick one of them and draw a picture. It's really weird. And here's one little quick little tale. When I went to LA and I was over in West Hollywood, I sat down on this bench. I've told this story before, but it's so funny. This big old muscled up, like bodybuilder looking motherfucker. I mean, he would look like two Arnold Schwarzeneggers put together. He was like, he was definitely on the juice. But anyways, he was just like bubbled up, sat down beside me. And then all of a sudden, about a 6'2" tranny or drag. This wasn't a tranny. This was a drag queen, basically. Sat down on the other side beside me. And I'm looking like this. And I'm the big fat Southern boy in between them. And I'm like, yeah, this is a joke. This is
a
like
bar joke.
Yeah, this is a bar joke, and both of them just busted out laughing, and we all started having a conversation. So that was cool. And I also remember a spot one time. This is so funny at a bus stop. I was sitting there and I looked around. And I was like, "You would not get this in any other place but a bus station." There was an Amish dude. There was a drug addict. There was a fucking hooker, a black gangster thug guy, and a big fat white boy sitting there having a conversation in a circle, smoking cigarettes.
Yep.
You wouldn't get that anywhere. And people wonder why I take buses. That's why I want to hang out with Amish people and hookers.
And so you learn a lot about yourself by paying attention to other folk.
Yeah, you do. And I'm a big people watcher anyway, so I really like doing that.
Yeah.
Like, okay, here's I want to talk about that. I don't know if you ever been to Dubai.
Yep.
Okay, Dubai is becoming like the hottest travel spot. Like the people go vacation. Why is that?
I think Dubai. Well, first of all, Dubai has a fairly extensive air network, right? So they've done a lot of establishing air routes to places. So it's easier to get to. It's exotic, but they have figured out how to make it comfortable for the Japanese tourists, the Chinese tourists, the German tourists, the American tourists. They understand what it means to have a lot of these other people come in and then give them their slice of stuff. I understand, Pimpmunk, that a lot of people travel and want to carry their bubble of the world with them.
Yeah.
They don't want to explore. So somebody who's there saying, well, I got my McDonald's, I got my Burger King, and I got my Pizza Hut. And that's my dinner, my can of ravioli and my special item, and that's all they know, and they're given that bubble, right? And so they go to a place like Dubai and do the same thing and never actually encounter real Dubai.
Yeah, okay.
And so Dubai is figured out, and it's also catered to all stratas of the economic ladder too. Right, which is somewhat unique for that area because there's other places around there that are quite intolerant of things that are not like them.
Yeah, you mentioned something though, and I learned this a while back. If you're going to travel somewhere, don't eat at McDonald's or Taco Bell. You can eat at McDonald's and Taco Bell at home. You find the local spots to eat at. You want to try different types of food. You can eat McDonald's anytime. Yeah,
so if you go to Australia, find somebody and say, hey, what do you do for fast food? Right? Yeah. And you'll find, let's say, the Australian fast food. Now, it may not be the best stuff, because fast food is fast food, but you can try to see what the locals eat, right?
Well, we know what they eat locally in Australia. Fucking kangaroo shit.
Well, it's beetroot on burgers, for example, is one of the things. And by the way, once you've had that, even if you're non-vegetarian, you understand. Wow, okay, that makes sense.
Yes, it does.
Yes, it does. Beetroot on the burger. And when I first heard about the beetroot thing, I was like, "Ew, really?" But I'm gonna try it.
And egg. Got to fucking throw an egg on there.
I have eaten egg on burger. I have eaten egg on burger, and I do not like an egg on a burger. I don't prefer. I really prefer the egg to be off the burger, but I'll give it a try.
Oh, I'm gonna.
Now, is it? But it's a fried egg or a scrambled
fried egg. It's fried egg cooked on the same hot plate where they cook the burger and all the other food, that's kind of the secret of the local burger joint is everything's cooked on that hot plate and it's just shit gets awesome. And I'm gonna blow your mind. What if I told you a burger of the lot consisted? It also had beetroot. You put bacon and egg on it, but then just to fucking really piss off the Americans, we go pineapple slice. Boom.
So I by the way, the thing I found in Australia that is really amazing is just how vegetarian friendly it is. Right? You might think, a bunch of meat eating, blah blah blah. No, but there's lots of really good vegetarian friendly stuff and pescatarian stuff there, and people that they can spot a foreigner a mile away or a kilometer away, depending on your proclivities, and they're just tickled pink that you want to try something different.
Yeah, there's a lot of delicious foods. Because here's the thing, my local burger joint's a fusion of Greek and Australian takeaway. So it's like Greek food, like Greek salads and all of these cool things. And they've done this fusion. So there's these dishes that are mixed like a bed of hot chips with, it's kind of like kebab meat, your choice of chicken or whatever. And then whatever sauce, I had a sweet chili sauce, but this meat, it's rather spicy in itself with on a bed of hot chips. It's fucking delicious. They call it an atomic bomb, and it's like I couldn't eat it all. The serving's so big that I sat there after it like Jabba the Hutt going, and it's half left.
Well, when it comes to traveling, a big thing about traveling is food. I mean, and a fat guy like myself who's trying to lose weight, that's fucking horrible. But I don't give a fuck. If I'm there and I see something different, I'm gonna eat it.
Oh, I'll put a word of caution out there. If you go into certain countries, like let's just say it's a well-known thing. It's called barley belly in Australia. When you go to Indonesia, for instance, and if you're dumb enough to drink a drop of the local water or you eat some of the local food, guess what? You're spending most of your holiday doing, and I've heard this described so many times. It happens. You basically end up in a shower, vomiting and shitting at the same time violently.
Yes.
I've done that before.
Simultaneously, like you are. It's literally you're
coming out
vomiting
both
while
ends.
shitting at the exact same time, and it's like I've never experienced that because I've never gone to Bali, and
So,
I would just the caution is eat at McDonald's at places like that because it's one of the few places you can go to which got high international standards where you won't get sick, and drink bottled water.
Well, and by the way, and you're asking again about Divide. That's one of the places where they try to make sure that the locals aren't going to get sick because that tends to, so the thing that you do if you're going to a place that is different is that the rule is that if you can peel it or if it's cooked, cooked well, you can eat it. Right? You don't eat a salad. You do not have water with ice in it, right? Bottled water, okay. Tap water, no. A banana, an orange that you peel, okay. But an apple or lettuce that they've washed in their local water, no. That's sort of how you try and.
So if you can peel it and what?
Well, or if it's cooked, right?
What if you can fuck it?
Well, there's certain diseases too that you're not used to. See, the thing is, it's that you're not used to it, right? So when you travel to Australia, you're going to be exposed to a whole different set of colds and that sort of thing, and just expect to pick up some of the local bugs.
Yeah.
You just want to be sure your introduction is reasonably close. So you go to a travel doctor. There are doctors that specialize in travel. And so you're going to go over, you're going to leave your area. You go to a travel doctor and say, I'm going to Australia. They look up what's currently going on in Australia, and they say, oh, you've got a cold, there's a cold virus you're not going to be, you're going to be exposed to. Here's some meds for a cold. You're going out to this neck of the woods. There's some local water stuff. So here's some for diarrhea. And
I heard the last time Marshall traveled, he caught some of the local bugs. It was called crabs.
Oh man, that seems to happen every time I go traveling.
Yeah,
I might need to change my habits. Maybe it's my fault.
See, now, everybody always talks about going to food places, right? See, I try to go to the local strip clubs because, you have to. The local strip clubs is really where the culture's at. You got different. It's same rules if you can peel it. No, I'm joking. I do like the strip club. But anyways, food is a big deal about traveling. Okay, what about safety? Like, not getting robbed, not getting mugged. Yeah, go ahead, Brad. You got something to say, I can tell.
Well, there's in Australia we've got the government-run website that gives travel advisories, and it's a really good idea to go to a place like that and have a look at and keep an eye on the news to see what's fucking going on. Because, for instance, if you're in the wrong place at the wrong time, and Landon he's been there and done it. He's got a fucking great story about Mugabe. Well, he's got two of them actually, but the first one's frighteningly realistic and very tragic actually, but I won't spoil it. But yeah, it's a good idea to get travel advice from either someone in the know or your government, or if you've got someone that lives in that destination, get some local intel. That's probably the best thing to do, is if you know someone on the ground where you're going, ask them what the fuck's going on. Because if it's politically hot, or there's places that you just shouldn't travel to. For instance, 419 Scam Central. If you get scammed, I've heard of people going there to try and get their money back, and they find them dead in a ditch just down the road from the airport.
Yeah.
And the situations change. So
Yes.
countries that were safe to go to 10 years ago might not be currently safe right now, but in another 10 years might change. So for your country, your country will have a travel department, and they will have travel advisories. I would recommend, however, looking at other countries' travel advisories, because sometimes the politics show through on advisory. So as an example, if you are going to go, let's say, to a place like Singapore, check out what the United Kingdom says about Singapore travel, Canada, United States, New Zealand, Australia, and use that to kind of triangulate about Singapore as an example.
Well, that's the reason I brought it up, because you got to do your research on things before you do that. That's the reason I brought that up, because you can get conned, hustled, you get hurt. It's like you go to Chicago. There's certain parts of Chicago you don't want to go.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Exactly.
So I'm from Atlanta. Oh, go ahead, Ray.
I was just going to say, for instance, I've just read on the news website this afternoon, second largest city in Nigeria. It's a worst case scenario for the World Health Organization. There's been an outbreak of Ebola in it, 1 million people. And they're saying this one's going to be really fucking hard to contain. So places like this goes back to the food thing again. If you eat the wrong sort of food that's not cooked properly and it's bushmeat, guess what? You're risking yourself and fucking Ebola.
Ebola.
Now again, that's one of the things why you go to a travel doctor before you go. You show them an itinerary, and you don't go like the day before you travel, right?
Yes.
This is something where you go 2 or 3 months, because they will look at what's going on there. They get the disease reports. If they recommend some vaccination for something or other, they can get that stuff to you. But the main thing, again, in terms of of being healthy, is avoid the local water, right? That's usually the case. So and that's where I got into the habit. If I go someplace and they serve me a glass of water with ice in it, I will ask, saying, can I have? Because again, ice means that they've taken tap water, they put it into an ice cube tray, and incubated whatever is there locally. And the locals think it's fine because they're used to it. Yeah. But you get that bug in you, and you have to go through the acclimatization process.
Yeah, our immune systems are weak, so yeah.
Well, but then you can sort of build up. But still, in terms of safety, probably most of the time what you're dealing with is areas not to go.
Yeah.
So,
exactly.
for example, one of the dodgiest places that I've been to is a place called King's Cross in Sydney, Australia.
Cross. Yes. Oh, I'm so happy. I'm so happy to hear you say that.
And in fact, there was a travel thing where they said we need to go to someplace safe, someplace in Sydney. And I remember saying, any place fine except King's Cross. And the travel agent heard King's Cross, found a really cheap place. Yes, well,
so it's kind of
we
rough.
relocated.
Oh, it's a nightclub district, and for a long, it's kind of cleaned up its act a bit, but we'll go back 20 years. Organized crime, prostitution, a chronic amount of, my friend used to live in the Cross, and he'd be sitting on his front doorstep, and these chicks would walk past that are just addicted to every drug known to man. And they'd be so desperate for a drug, they go, oh, I'll give you a blowjob for $20, mate. He'd just go, fuck off, idiot.
Now, give me the exact spot this was at.
Yeah, it was definitely
No,
good city.
That's not the worst bit. Then they'd start to haggle, and they'd drop their price to see, like,
Yeah.
damn.
You gotta haggle with a crack horse, man. That's it.
I'll knock the top off it for $5, then, mate. It's like, no.
So I, realizing the mistake, arranged to, relocate my hotel. I had a travel group that real people are saying, oh, let's go and see what the local is, just a little bit of color and so forth. And I remember you're talking about, Momster came up to their, they were in a hotel lobby and said, look, I can tell you're tourists. You're not good for the local economy around here. Mind if we, recommend and move you to a hotel out of the area, right? They wanted people that was going to spend money, and these tourists weren't going to spend money on the kind of things that the boss man wanted to spend on. So he was polite enough to say, could you leave the area? You're not our kind of tourist.
Yeah, we can recommend you a hotel that you'd probably actually like to stay at, because after dark there's going to be hookers running around here with needles hanging out their arms, sucking on dicks. It really was like that. It was rough as guts. The police were corrupt, so they were bribed by the gangs to just turn a blind eye. And in fact, the police were used as muscle way back. We're talking. They openly executed people on the streets.
That's fucking crazy, man.
So that's the thing that there are spots, but again, that's an isolated spot in an area, and again, it probably has changed its tune since I've been there.
Well, that's what the police kept it as. Like the coppers went, listen, if you keep all your crap in this little area here, we don't see anything, we know nothing. They were kind of like shilts, but you come out of this little area and upset Mr. and Mrs. Jones that live in this next door suburb, we will crucify you. And that was the deal, which is why King's Cross became the hotbed of organised crime, prostitution, drug dealing, and nightclubs.
And the sad thing about stuff like that, though, is like those spots in cities like that always give the whole city better. Like, to take Chicago, I mentioned Chicago, right? Just everybody's scared to go to Chicago these days because Chicago's pretty violent. But Chicago's a beautiful city. And they've got some beautiful parts of Chicago. So I would say don't, not go to Chicago. Just don't go to certain parts of Chicago.
Yeah. That's the same thing in many countries. There are spots you go to and spots you don't. Exactly. So again, Australia, by and large, extremely safe from the local population. Yeah. But you want a local around so they can say, don't touch that plant because you'll probably die.
I'm definitely going to need somebody like that because I'm a dumbass, right? I see a pretty plant, I'm going to say, oh, look at the pretty plant. And Red Eye's going to have to mate that'll kill you, mate. Okay, now
I've got a plan. You're going to need to poop in the bush, and I'm going to find a gimpy and go, that's the one you wipe your ass with. You will hear Pimp scream in America, and he won't stop screaming.
So the thing that you're talking about again also in travel, so it's a little bit of travel smarts, right? And some of the things have to do with just common sense, where you don't go and flash your cash around. You don't sit there and say, rob me, I've got lots of stuff, right? Yeah. That's kind of one of the things you want to do.
I want to bring Marshall into the conversation. He's being so quiet. He's such a grumpy guest today. I want to bring him. Okay, so speak locally. Like, where's the best place in Georgia to go?
Nowhere. This is the worst.
Come on. Listen. Savannah's a beautiful place.
Yeah, I would say Savannah. There's a lot of really cool historic shit, but I would actually warn people to be really cautious, especially if you're coming to Atlanta. We have a really bad human trafficking problem.
Yeah.
Atlanta's actually a human trafficking hub of the world.
I've heard that.
We recently had a case where, and this wasn't too far from me. It was at Town Center Mall where this little girl, and this is a crowded mall. There's lots of people. This girl went to the bathroom by herself. Her parents were still in the food court, and this dude put a knife to her. I mean, a grown man put a knife to her and tried to take her, but she screamed. So her dad came, got the knife away from the guy, and like the security and everybody had to hold him there. This dude's trying like hell to get away, and I believe when he was arrested, he was charged with human trafficking. So that little girl could have easily been swiped, and that was in broad daylight. So
Well, you know who Atlanta's not going to hire for a tour guide? This guy.
I don't like my state, dude. I don't. I'd rather leave and never.
But see, now I've been on. I do think Savannah is a beautiful place, though. Savannah is beautiful. Atlanta does have a lot of issues. I've been to Atlanta a couple times. It does have issues. Traffic sucks too.
But again, it's where you go there. So you go with a local. And there's some amazing eateries around Atlanta, great hospitality. If you're going like in Atlanta area, but again, it's a matter of having some.
I want to go to that restaurant that has the rotating thing.
Yeah, we should go there when we shoot the video.
Yes, yeah, we're gonna go. I'm gonna go there. I know you've been all over the world, man. I know that, but America. Let's think of people who can only travel locally.
The only place that matters, America.
No, but there's a lot of people who can't travel. They can't afford. They can travel. Like, what spots is really good for you in America?
Well, what do you? It could also extend into what kind of travel do you want to do? Do you want to go into a city? Do you want to go to a national park? Do you want to just pass through an area? I mean, what kind of traveling are you doing?
Okay, let's stick with that, like, beautiful scenery for a minute. Like
New Mexico?
New Mexico. I love it. I'm glad you mentioned it. New Mexico is absolutely stunning. I also like Montana. Montana's beautiful. Yeah. If you like mountains, big
sky country.
If you like going in, I'll tell you where else now. Going into Seattle, going to Washington's got some beautiful country. The mountains out there, the snow on the mountains, it's beautiful. If you just like looking at pretty things, very pretty places.
Yeah, so like when I flew from San Francisco to Seattle, I made sure it was on the proper side of the plane so I could see all the volcanoes, from Lassen and Shasta and Mount St. Helens and Mount Hood and Rainier and all those great volcanoes up and down the Cascades are really pretty to look at.
Yeah, and that's okay. And since you mentioned volcanoes, here in a minute, I'm gonna bring up something about volcanoes and other stuff like that. But yeah, we're gonna stick with the American thing for just a second though. Now, city-wise, I can tell you my favorite cities. The favorite places I've been to is, without a doubt, New Orleans is one of my favorite places. New Orleans is so much culture. There's so much to do. There's
so much history.
So much history. It's just like, okay, here's the deal. Like, during the day, you can go see all the historical cool shit, and at night, you can hit the coolest clubs. They got great music. It's just so much going on there. Great food. One of the things I'll never forget about New Orleans is sitting outside the hotel. I was smoking a cigarette, of course, and it's about 2 a.m. in the morning. All of a sudden, a damn bicycle parade just busted out of nowhere. These like 100, 200 bikes, black people. It's all black people too, and they had jamming music and lights.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it was cool. It was cool as hell, dude. And I took a video and took a picture and everything.
Yeah.
But
so here's a tip on there. Is let's say you go to some city, check in a hotel, talk to the concierge or talk to the bellman on there and say, hey, in a couple of days I got a free day here. Can you hook me up with a cab driver who will take me around for half day and show me stuff, right? Yeah. So you hire a cab for 4 hours, and he'll get somebody, a friend knows their area, and they'll say, hey, I'll drive you around, I'll show you stuff for 4 hours for $50, and you'll see a lot of great things, because the cabs know where to go, what to see, what people tend to go to, and they can give you great stories and so forth. So that's Another area is to also talk to somebody about people that doing walking tours, right? There are guides that will come to your hotel and you walk with them, or they'll go on a train to some spot and then you walk around and they'll show you the history, the sites and stuff. Now we were fortunate that we had a really marvelous host that lived in the area there.
Yeah.
But if you didn't have that, talk to somebody about what kind of walking tours, and they'll meet someplace and walk down and you'll see the history of a place.
Yeah, and there's a lot of cool places like when I went to San Francisco and met you out there and stuff. You took me everywhere, and it was so cool to see all the historical shit of San Francisco, the Alcatraz, stuff like that. It was just the bridge, of course, the Golden Gate. Not the Golden, yeah. What am I talking about? Anyways, a bunch of shit, cool stuff, great stuff. Now here's what I wanted to bring up. You mentioned volcanoes, and I was thinking earthquakes, volcanoes, natural disaster. Like, I know a guy who will not visit California because of earthquakes. Look, the thing is, there's dangers everywhere. And if you're going to sit there, I'm going to go to Hawaii because there's volcanoes. I'm not going to go here because there's earthquakes. Then you're just robbing yourself of a good time.
I mean, you got to take some risk for reward, man.
Yeah.
Good point.
Yeah.
And usually when you're traveling overseas as well, you have the equivalent, whatever, like the State Department, your travel department, where you'll register where you're going, right?
Yeah.
Consulates are and embassies, and but if you give them their itinerary, then someone can know if there's a trouble in the area, because you got a typhoon shows up or something. But again, that's pretty rare.
Yeah.
But there are opportunities also. If you're going to a really big city that's well known, you tend to have to go twice. So if you've never been to New York, show up to New York and go through the standard stuff, right? And
Is it? Oh, he broke it. He
that out of your been up to the Empire Square, and I've done those sort of things. Now spend time seeing the New York, which is not high on the tourist bucket list.
Yeah, that's what I like to do a lot of times. Like, that's the reason I like to when I do my trips is I meet people right there. I want people to be there where they can take me around and show me things that normal tourists won't see. Like the local shops that people go to, the local cafes that people go to. You can learn a lot. You can learn a lot by doing that because that's how you really know people, meet people. But also you can't learn the rules automatically, but also try to pick up on like certain cultures and certain things because you don't want to go into a place and be and say something really stupid like I do all the time.
So there are websites that will talk to you about mannerisms and cultural things to do and not do.
Yeah.
So in some places, thumbs up is a happy sign. Some places, thumbs up is a rude sign. So you go in and look at those cultural things, right, that are there. They give you some guides. Now, they'll know you're a tourist, so if you make a mistake, they see you're a Yank, they'll say, oh, yeah, okay, here's...
Okay.
A retard.
Of all the places you've been, what's the one place that you will not go back and refuse to go back to? Or is there a place that you refuse?
No, I've never experienced that, honestly. I've pretty much enjoyed every travel experience I've had.
Oh, can I be so bold as to answer on behalf of Landon and say North Korea?
I'm not setting foot there.
I mean, if there was a significant regime change, it might. But I was thinking Gary, Indiana.
Oh, damn, Hoburg, did you hear that, you little bitch?
Shots fired, Jordan.
Call 911, motherfucker.
Well, so far, there's not been a place that I wouldn't go back to. Yeah, I want to go back to a place because I feel like the last time, and we can talk about this a little bit too, because I went to Nashville, right? And I was a little bit disappointed in Nashville because I heard so many great things about Nashville, and I was a little bit disappointed. But the next pimp gathering will be taking place in Nashville, Tennessee. And we're going to rent a house. And just like we did in Myrtle Beach last year, we're going to rent a house. And a bunch of us are going to stay. And anybody's welcome. You just got to like join in. You got to pay a little money for the house. The more people, the cheaper it is. Last year we had 11 people when we stayed at Myrtle Beach. But this year I want to do everything Nashville. I want to go to the Grand Ole Opry with everybody. Even if you don't like country music, that's a historical fucking place.
Yeah.
I want to get on one of those little bar things that they've got where you pedal around on the bike. Everybody pedals the fucking bicycle together, and it's a bar. They got them. They got all everywhere.
Well, there's things that, again, back to Sydney. They do these pub crawls with this group bicycle, right?
Yeah.
And there's a bar, and they're serving drinks, and you're pedaling or trying to pedal while they take you from bar to bar.
Yeah, that's the way this is a thing.
It's a pretty nice, but going to a place outside of civilization too, as someone mentioned, is important. Most countries have national parks, and even if you're not someone who's out there going to rough it, they usually have a lodge or someplace you can stay at the national park, and guides that will take you around.
Yeah, I've always wanted to go to Jellystone.
Out of the city.
I always wanted to go to Jellystone and meet Yogi.
Well, Boo Boo is also pretty nice.
Fuck that motherfucker. He's an asshole. Crack-headed little bear.
But that sort of thing. And by the way, if you're going to change your latitude on Earth, just spend a little bit of time going out and looking at where your stars are in your home place, and then travel.
Yeah.
Get up at night and look and see, wow, things have shifted, right? You can see, so when I went up to Seattle from the San Francisco area, I could sit there and say, oh, the stars was there and now they're over there. You can tell that you've shifted around on the world. And then if you go really crazy, go down under, where you'll see a half of a universe you won't be able to see over here.
Now, I usually don't do this. I usually bitch about my state a lot. But I do want to give a little... See, our state's got a bad reputation, right? Because of history, because of racism in the past. So nobody really gives a fuck about Mississippi. They really don't. But I'm going to tell you something. There's some beautiful fucking places in this state. This state has some lovely areas, man. Our coastal area, or down to the coast, it's fucking beautiful. It's absolutely lovely. There's some cool casinos. Now, a lot of people don't like Midland, like Tunica's pretty badass. There's some pretty, and like me, and I say, I love kudzu. A lot of people don't know. See, Mississippi is full of kudzu, but there's places around my local area where there's nothing but like we call the kudzu forest, right? Because all the trees are covered in kudzu.
That shit's everywhere here.
Yeah, and they make these beautiful fucking, like, some of them looks like dinosaurs and bears. It's really odd. It's kind of artsy in a way, but it's natural, and it's very cool.
But a lot of national parks and regional parks you can go and visit. Even if you say, well, I'll go and I'll stay in a major city, then get out of the city and go to some of the regional parks around the area and see a bit of the natural splendor. I mean, that's my preference is out of the big city and into the hinterlands.
See, I live in the fucking country, so I'm always roughing it. So I like the cities when I go vacation and go to trips and stuff. I'm used to the country, so I'm a little different. But a lot of people do like it. A lot of people love camping, and there's a Sardis Lake is popular around Mississippi. It's in Oxford. It's a big, giant fucking lake, and it's beautiful out there. A lot of people that from other states go there here to visit. So it's kind of our travel spot. But I always want to go to Grand Canyon.
Amazing place.
Yeah.
Amazing place, and you can do everything from the stay at the Grand Canyon Lodge, historic lodge, and it's almost like a fine hotel, to hiking down to the bottom of the Grand Canyon and back out, assuming your needs.
Paul Bunyan really did have a big footprint, didn't he? This is stupid. Anyways, I'm stupid.
But it is pretty grand, and once you've been to the Grand Canyon, then you go to other places, say, well, this is the Grand Canyon of blah blah blah, and the Grand Canyon of blah blah blah. But there's only one Grand Canyon, and it's worth going to.
Yeah. But there's a lot of fucking places around, I think, around America that are worth visiting. Like I said, New Mexico. You said earlier, New Mexico's beautiful. Kind of hot, but it's nice.
But you can go into the fall where it's not so bad.
Yeah.
I mean, that's also pay attention to the weather, and that's another thing. Think about the fact that there is no bad weather. There's just bad clothing choices, right?
That's true.
So spend a little bit of time looking at the weather and climate thing for where you're going, and see, oh, this is a rainy place, so I better have both rain gear and if it's sunny, right? This is a hot place, but it's currently winter here, so dress accordingly.
And if you're a freak, where are all the nudist beaches at?
But for example, as something different, one of my favorite times I had as Christmas was going down to Australia. We were at a beach in Adelaide, and there was, in fact, it was on the beach Christmas Day, and there was I would call him he's like a Santa-shaped dude that had sort of, think of like Santa Claus in a whole body sort of bathing suit, and surrounding him were elves, but reindeer, but they were actually these nice ladies dressed, well, they were sort of dressed, and you could sort of tell they had antlers on it, and it was Santa and the reindeer. They had a really nice barbecue pit, and it was like, hey, come on over and enjoy some local.
Did you fuck them reindeer, Landon?
Oh, they were quite friendly. We had Santa and reindeer. I was a good boy.
You was a good boy. Why, Landon? See, if that was me and Red, we'd be fucking the shit out them reindeer.
But that's sort of a thing about us Northern Hemisphere people don't really think about what do you do on Christmas Day. You go down to the beach. Yeah. And you're in the sun and drinking beer and cook shrimp and that sort of thing.
Now, there's a place I'm going to talk about because I really want to go there one day. I hope I get to go there one day. And I know you've been. Japan.
Oh, man.
Japan's I hear so many great things about Japan. And I really want to go there. So talk about it a little bit.
Well, I think, Pimpmunk, people would enjoy seeing you because when they see a dude who is, and the culture they're seen as this person who's got it made, right? Your size says something for food. You are a virulent, a person that has the means, right? And in fact, I guarantee you, you'll have little old ladies who will come up to you and rub your belly.
Whoa, can I fuck the little old ladies?
There are houses where you could do that. And if you said, I want old ladies, they'll bring in people from retirement too. But if that's your thing, right? That sort of is.
Well, one of the cool things is about Japan, I think, is like in Tokyo, that city is so fucking booming, right? It's just
it never sleeps, dude. It's just always going.
And that's the thing is, Japan is loud. It is loud all the time, right? I mean, okay, yes, there.
I think Landon's having internet issues.
But you go on the as I say, if you travel on things like the subways, one of the things you'll sit there and you'll be inside this packed car and you'll realize saying, wow, I'm a foot taller than everyone else. I can see out over the sea of people, right? And of course, you will stand. There's a foreigner, and again, they're actually quite polite, quite pleasant. If they see you got a camera, they'll want you to take their picture. They'll want to have your picture taken with you. And then the other thing you do with Japan has a lot of fascination with various cultures. And so one of the fun things to do is to go to an Italian restaurant in Japan, go to an Australian restaurant in Japan, because you sort of see the Japanese take on other cultures, which is fun to do.
Now, the thing that doesn't interest me about Japan is the food. They like a lot of raw fish and shit, and I'm not big into the fish. They're big on seafood and stuff, and I'm not a seafood guy, so the food doesn't interest me.
Oh, you're missing something. You need to look up a thing called Wagyu beef, and then change your mind rapidly, because Wagyu beef, we've actually taken over Japan as the best producers of it.
Oh,
so
I've heard about this.
It is the shit. Like, I've had a Wagyu beef burger. It cost $25. I've never had a better burger. It is fucking phenomenal. Like, the beef is so good.
You sounded like Trump it's phenomenal.
Yeah,
it's
but
huge.
It's huge. It's huge. It's phenomenal.
But there's a lot of non-seafood in Japan.
Yeah. Okay. Now I was gonna I was trying to make a segue, but fucking Red Eye interrupted me. That's all right. I love him anyways. I was gonna say the place with the food that interests me the most is Italy.
Oh, my girl's from Italy.
Oh, really? Okay. Now I really want to go to Italy and eat real Italian food, because fuck, I love Italian food. But so you've been to Italy?
I have not. No.
Landon has, I think.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh yeah. In fact, Italy was the first place I went to outside of North America.
Damn, man, you've been everywhere. You kind of
well, I've been on all the continents and all the oceans, and all the seas. But Italy, the thing about Italy is that it on the tourist, the cost of the food is going to be about 4 or 5 times more than if you're willing to walk 2 or 3 blocks off of the main spot. And there's a lot of the restaurant. You'll see these family style restaurants where the family lives on the 2nd and 3rd floor, and the 1st floor is kind of the kitchen stuff. And the eating experience, like the dinner experiences, are long affairs. You don't show up, grab a bite to eat, and you're out in 30 minutes, because they'll wonder, like, did we offend you? What's wrong, right? You spend 2 or 3 hours eating, and they have something they'll come down to serve. They'll want to say you're a foreigner and start talking with you. The chef will come out, have a conversation, like, hey, have you ever had a blah blah blah? Let me show you how it's done. And he'll go back in the kitchen, make something, come out, and just start serving. And of course, the wine keeps flowing, and the grappa.
Yeah, they're big on wine, aren't they?
It's one of those things where dinner takes a time. Now, you also have to understand when you go to a place when they eat, because you might think, well, doesn't everyone have supper around supper time? No. And place in Italy, if you talk about doing in PMs, 8 p.m. might be places where that's early dinner. Mm. To dinners that start at around 1 a.m. Okay. Right? They tend to kind of shift, but then they get it. There's places in Italy where they'll get up in the morning and then they'll have a siesta or several hours where they'll go home for lunch and spend maybe 2.5 hours away from the office, come back in the afternoon, so that when they get off work, it's and they go home and then get ready for dinner. So you'll find that if you show up and say it's 5 o'clock, when I have dinner, all the places are closed, right? But if you show up at 8, they're getting ready, and then you just have and part of the dinner becomes this long cultural experience, right? And the guy will sit there and say, hey, let's pause, because my friend around the corner, they just have they just made some great gelato, so let's all head over there. And so you go back and forth to various places, but again, you're eating at local places where they will show you how they cook this thing and that thing, right? Yeah. And you spend the time enjoying yourself. You're not in and out. This is not a fast food place, right? This is the real Italians, and it's an amazing collection, because now you'll find that the pastas you have, different regions, the pasta you will see in Tuscany, like around Florence, is very different than in Venice, the Venice area, very different than Rome, because they have different shapes of pasta and different methods of cooking, and they're quite competitive. So if you sit there and say, "Yeah, I was just in Milano, had some really nice pastas, the cannelloni," they'll say, but you're here in Ivrea. We have the best cannelloni. We'll show you real cannelloni, right? And they'll competitively cook that stuff and say, "Isn't this great?" And of course, the answer is yes, because they definitely have. Because Italy turns out to be a collection of many countries that was unified relatively recently in history. So you'll find, if you start paying attention, that different spots. Because you sit there and say Italian food. No. Italian food is really a regional specialty, and they do things different.
Yeah.
That you will find, you'll be educated on pizza, and I know there's lots of North Americans that think they know what pizza is like. But when you go to Italy, you'll find that pizza is a style, and that different areas have different styles, but you won't find the stuff that you will find typically in an American pizza joint.
You will not believe what my girlfriend's favorite pizza was when she came to America.
What's that?
Papa John's. This is an Italian born, I mean, she's from Milano, and she thought Papa John's was the best pizza she had here.
Well, I mean, our North American pizza is different. I will not accept that we cook Italian pizza.
No,
And I don't care if you're from New York or Chicago or San Francisco. There, it's very difficult to find.
Well,
He's having bad internet issues.
yeah, you having some internet connection issues, man, or something.
Sorry.
That's fine. We're losing you every now and again, but you're doing good. That's how I feel like Mississippi people feel about roadkill. People claim that they know how to cook roadkill. No, we know how to cook roadkill. All right.
Yeah, I think the matter is that it's not that Italian pizza is better. Italian style pizza in Italy is different depending upon the region.
Yeah. That's the reason I want to go there, because I want to eat like real stuff, like real.
Oh, and the gelato. Oh, wow, yes.
Anyways.
That's you want to go to Italy in the summertime, get that gelato. Oh.
So a red eye.
Yes, sir.
The fuck are you doing?
Oh, I'm listening.
Well, stop it. Interrupt
Okay.
somebody. No, I'm joking. So yeah. Anyways, best Australian type of food. I don't know if you like. I don't know what the cuisine is in Australia. So.
It's got to be barbecue, and because here's the thing, you can go beef, chicken, lamb, get creative, bring in some freshly caught mackerel and turn that into steaks, and you will make friends fucking instantly. Yeah, it's just it's more than just the food. It's food, drink, social gathering, people coming together. But definitely, I'd say a barbecue, and because it's such a big mix of different cultures in Australia now, it's a very multicultural thing. So you get all of these fusion foods coming in, and it's like everyone's mum's got their own special recipe of 10 different fucking foods. It's just hard to describe it all. It'll take an hour to talk about all the different food, but definitely the barbecue.
The barbecue, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, barbecues, Australians have really some amazing barbecue stuff. And it's, by the way, it's very different than what you'll hear about in North America of the barbecue, or the southern barbecues, which are great, but Australian barbecue is an experience that is that's pretty interesting. And you'll learn about barbecue. You'll learn, oh, I thought everyone did it that way. No. there are differences even in how the barbecue is hooked up, how they light it, what they put on it, how they grill things. It's unique, and particularly if you pay attention.
Yeah, I will say though, Southern people know how to barbecue.
Oh, they do.
Yeah. Memphis, that's the thing. If you go down to South Memphis, if you go in that area, eat their barbecue because it's the best.
And so I would say when you go to a place, expect things to be different, and don't sit there and say, "Oh, well, we know how to blah 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 blah," right?
Exactly.
Enjoy what they do, and live that, be in that moment, be in that experience that's there. So the barbecue on the beach on Christmas Day was example of.
That sounds like a cool experience.
Yeah, with Santa and his reindeer.
And here's my little tip about traveling. If you whatever you do, if you get on a bus, a plane, a train, or whatever, if you go in with this is going to suck, well, guess what's going to happen? It's going to suck.
Sure.
Go in with a pie and just make an adventure out of it. And if something goes wrong on your trip, figure out how to make it good.
Part of the adventure.
Yeah, just
make it into a story, right?
Yeah, exactly. There's a lot of shit that's happened to me when I travel, and like I said, I'm not a world traveler, just travel around America. But I just try to make it into something. Sometimes it's hard to do, but I try to make it into something.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
And I think that so it's the attitude of going there and exploring and seeing how people live and how they work and what they do. And you will find, if you pay attention to even the smallest details, wow, things are different. Like, for example, when I go to a place, I pay attention to plugs, the light switches, the doorknobs, the hinges, so forth. You sit there and say, well, why would I pay attention to that? Well, guess what? Not everyone does it exactly like you do. Not everyone has a doorknobs like you do. Not everyone has light switches and plugs. And by the way, that's also the thing when you travel someplace, you need to have plug converters. But still, it's sort of how people go about their day-to-day lives is interesting. Not everyone does it like you. In fact, almost nobody does it like you. So you will learn, oh, this is something unique about how we do tables and chairs, how we park cars, how we that you think, well, go to a place and look, and you'll find that different people do different things.
Even it's what's weird about it is even like in America, dude, state from state, it's so different. Everything's different. People, how people say things, do things. Even in America, especially going out of traveling overseas and shit, that's got to be way different. But it's even different when you travel from state to state.
Yeah, even how people drive is different from.
Yeah.
Yes, driving is extremely cultural phenomenon.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right, and you might look at something and say that's chaotic, but there are rules of the road that people have figured out, and yet you might say, well, how in the world do they not die? And their response coming over to your place is, how in the world do you people don't die on the road? But
that's what's beautiful about it, though, about all these differences. Is that when you do get to travel, you really learn things and see things, and it makes memories. That's what traveling is really about, is making memories.
I mean, Red, I talked about earlier about the rule of the road when it's wet and a truck coming and you're on effectively a half-lane road. What do? Those are things that the locals know how to do that you might not expect that.
Yeah, I think one of the most important things you said so far, in my opinion, is find someone who's local. And anywhere you go, because they can show you the rules. They can show you the ropes of their city or place where they're at. And they also know about all the cool places that tourists don't know about.
Yeah. But, I mean, I think probably the friendliest road experiences I've experienced are in Canada. in terms of, and I know that the Canadians will point to.
I thought it'd be Russia.
Rude Canadian drivers. Probably the most insane driving was in Naples, Italy. And in fact, you go to Italian, you say, driving in Italy, oh yeah, we have, because they're the kind of, they have a fairly interesting driving culture. And then you say, and what about Naples? And they'll laugh, right? Because Naples has its own rules that doesn't necessarily pay attention to physics too. It's kind of an interesting spot.
Yeah, Gator, we actually said that earlier to educate yourself about the places before you go to them. We were talking about that earlier. We completely agree with you on that. You learn the nuances of the places and stuff. Exactly, it's a good point, Gator. The reason I mentioned Russia, you ever watch some of those videos about Russian traffic and driving?
Dude,
they're fucking crazy.
I had a Russian roommate who was an orphan who came here as a child, and he would show me videos of just the most insane shit from Russian dash cams. Like, those guys are nuts over there.
Yeah, it is a pretty interesting experience. But then if you drive with a Russian and you see how they drive, and you just sit there and say, okay, this person knows what they're doing, so I'll accept it. That's kind of and you can watch, I didn't know that people's approach to a stop sign. So, and driving in China is there's definitely a Chinese cultural thing that you will see in cities that will blow your mind, and so take it for the adventure rather than say this is nuts, right?
Yeah, it's like China's got this special thing where there's actually this cultural thing where if you run someone over and there's footage of it on the internet, sometimes it's actually, they think it's a better idea to run them back out and make sure they're fucking dead, because it's easier to deal with once the person's dead. It's basically less trouble than if the person's still alive and horribly injured. There's a bunch of shit there. So there's this thing in China where you'll see these people get hit and then the car comes back into view and backs over them again and then fucks off to try and just finish them off. It's like, holy fuck. And the Russian thing is pedestrians, you're driving along the street and pedestrians will throw themselves in front of your vehicle at the last moment, and you'll see heaps of footage where the driver knows what's about to happen and they slow down and the people like land on the bonnet and flop and then pretend to be injured for a second. The driver just basically goes "Nyet," and they get up and abuse each other for 5 minutes. It's great.
Yeah, Galen mentioned about Malta. That's another interesting experience of driving on a small island, or places like, for example, in Gibraltar, where the density of cars can be quite an experience, and see how cars navigate around.
Now, talk about cars. I want to talk about trains for a second, because you told me before that the train experiences in other countries are really different than the train experience here in America.
Yeah, I think generally people who do not live in North America know how to have trains. Trains work in other places in the world. They're an excellent mode of transportation. You go to a place like Switzerland, you're nuts if you drive, whereas you're better off taking the train. It's faster, it's more convenient, and it's a lot more pleasure. And so the train experiences can be quite amazing, because you can also then, when you're going long haul, you can see lots of stuff that you wouldn't otherwise see if you're driving yourself.
Yeah, even in America, we may not know. If you travel, I suggest at least once travel by train, because you can see some cool shit. Like when I went to Seattle on that train, that was a badass trip. That was awesome. But yeah, I heard a lot about different trains. Now, the one thing I wanted to mention earlier, because it's like I said earlier, food is a big deal about traveling. And when you're in the States, a lot of people think Southern food, they think about certain things, about like soul food. Right? But see, down here, soul food is just food. White people eat it too. I mean, that's just the way it is. Me and my friend Earl, you know Earl Landon, we were talking one time. He's a black guy. We both started laughing because people call it soul food. And it's like they think black people eat it. Well, down here in the South, We all eat that shit because it's good food. But a lot of people don't know that our soul food, our southern food, is actually African food.
Yeah, so if you go to Africa, you will find southern cooking. Now, I'm saying there's a distinct. Now, I should say the areas, the Cajun Creole is a different.
That's a different deal.
But I'm talking about classic southern.
Yeah.
You will, when you go to various places in Africa, you will find southern cooking.
You find collard green ham hocks.
I guess that makes sense.
Well, because of the slaves.
Yeah.
It's
I never really thought about that, though.
Well, yeah, it's because of the slaves. They brought their food over here, and we like that shit.
I'm sorry for slavery, but thank you for the good-ass food.
Because Southern food is good now. Like, we know, see, a lot of people don't know how to do mac and cheese. We know how to do mac and cheese. We cook that shit in a goddamn oven.
It's like a casserole, dude. You put bacon in there, anything you want.
Yeah, we know how to do we know how to do mac and cheese. Now, you mentioned Creole food and stuff like that. But like I said earlier, we mentioned this already. If you want great food, New Orleans is one of the best cities to go to. The food there is phenomenal. And find a little fucking ugly dude who's bitchy and crabby. His name is Galen. Find him to take you around because he's the best host in the fucking world.
Yeah, give him a nickel, he'll take you around New Orleans.
I'm planning on going to New Orleans.
Well, I'm gonna suggest a place to go to if you go to New Orleans.
Okay, where?
Oh yes.
Wait a minute, I fucked the names out of my head. What is it?
Dookie
Chase. Yes, Dookie Chase is the place to go. Galen took me there, took us all there, but Galen took me there, and he just knew that I was going. He took us to a very, very nice restaurant the night before in a beautiful place. What was the name of that place? Where I actually wore a suit.
Oh yes. Oh come on.
Antoine's.
Yeah, Antoine's. Yes.
Anton, yeah. Very lovely place. Antoine's, yeah. Great food.
The Australian guy remember that? What the fuck?
Great food and everything. But the next day he took me to Dookie Chase, and oh my god, black people.
You've never stopped raving about that joint since you've been there. It's just like Pimp's wet dream of food.
It is. It's my wet dream, dude. That place was so fucking good, and I know that Anton's is one of the best restaurants in the world. I do know that. I get that, and it was good food. I enjoyed that food very much. But Dookie Chase is my place. I'm gonna tell you, man, Dookie Chase. Oh my god! One of the things that made it so good is the staff.
The hospitality there was exceptional.
Yeah, it was just, it's my time. They had the best sausage I ever ate in my goddamn life. I could fuck that sausage.
So that's again sort of the thing to do when you go to a place is they have their locals stuff, but some places you need to have reservations. So if you think about ahead of time, you can get some reservations for various great stuff. So yes, and again, if you think about North America, food in North America, the Southern cooking was a style brought over from Africa.
Absolutely.
Whereas, for example, the food in New Orleans, which is a different style, has a very unique history of there, because the how that was developed and who brought it there. You need to understand the history of the peoples of that region.
Yeah. Now, Galen's a very food guy, and he's into New Orleans food. New Orleans is a distinct culture, like he said there. But he'll tell you himself now, because he lived in Mississippi too. Mississippi got some good food. And I'm gonna tell you something y'all be shocked about. And Atlanta knows this, but Mississippi is big on Mexican food. We have a big Mexican culture down here, and we know how to do Mexican food now. And here's the thing: we have, like, you go to Jackson, you got tamale stands.
Oh man,
tamales, homemade tamale. Yeah, around here, we know how to do tamales. Even white people know how to do the tamales around here. I'm gonna tell you, we know how to do tamales.
Yeah, and Mexican food does not mean Taco Bell.
No.
And if you go to Mexico to have Mexican food, you'll find that what some people might think of Mexican food is sort of this Tex-Mex type stuff.
Yeah, exactly. That's true.
And it's like, no. And even in case it's another thing is Chinese food, right? If you go to China, you'll find that there is no one Chinese food. There are regions that have specialty stuff. And no, in a Chinese restaurant in China, you will not be served fortune cookies. You will not be served British tea. You will not be served, General Pao Pao's chicken thing. No, you'll have real Chinese food from that region, right? And all right, I like, honest, right? Tex-Mex is an American style thing that people from Mexico will come up to sample, right?
It's good food. It's good food.
I'm not saying it's bad. It's just that it's different. So when you go to a place in Mexico, you'll find regions, the Oaxaca tequila regions will have their distinct food. There's a lot of food in Mexico because the cultures live next to the ocean or next to the Gulf is fish based. And so there's a lot of amazing fish dishes that are prepared in very interesting ways that you won't find at Taco Bell.
Yeah, it's true. And there's a lot of little places around here that actually make real Mexican food. Like, I don't go to a lot of them. I like the Tex-Mex shit. But however, I do. I used to live right next to a Mexican dude, and his family. I used to eat at his house all the time.
Oh, man.
And dude, Landon's right. Some of their food is fucking phenomenal.
The best Mexican food I've ever had was there's a flea market near Bristol, Virginia. It's like the shitty little border town, but you would never know that there's this Mexican restaurant in this flea market, and it's family run, and it is the best fucking Mexican food I've ever had in my life.
Now, I want to mention what Galen said in the chat room. He says Mississippi cuisine is highly influenced by French, Scots, Irish, African, and Caribbean cooking styles. And it also depends on what area of Mississippi you go to, which has the more of the African style, the more of the, I want to throw that little part in.
So as I say, then you're talking about French cuisine. Going into France and particularly getting outside of Paris, because there's Paris and then there's France. And you'll find an amazing world there. French are very, very, very passionate about their food. They take great pride in the how it's made, how it's served, how it's presented. And you will have, if you're willing to try an experiment, you'll have a very, very great experience. Taste-wise, visual, and you'll see styles of service that is you cannot find anywhere else in the world.
The French are kind of assholes, though.
There would Parisians, most French would say.
Okay, we lost him.
You might have to repeat that, Landon. We didn't catch it.
Yeah. I would say most French would say that Parisians are rude, but Parisians would say most French country people are rude. So they're rude in their own way.
Now, the one thing I've heard about
food wise, it's France is amazing.
Now, the one thing I heard about France and the food, like when you go in, they want you to try to speak French, and if you can't do it, they will go ahead and speak English if they can. But they want you to try. Is that right? Am I right?
Here's the thing to do when you go to another place that doesn't speak your language.
Yes.
Is at least have an idea how to say hello, thank you, where's the bathroom, a couple of those things. Make an effort, and they will appreciate it and make an effort to communicate with you in your language.
That seems like it would be just a logical thing to do, really, is learn how to say hello, and at least say hello, thank you, and goodbye, Yeah, I can see it. When I go to Australia, I'm going to learn how to speak retard.
Yeah, you're fucking going to have to, aren't you?
But when you go to a place that allegedly speaks the same...
Oh.
Fucking Russians.
So, right? And
oh, your connection's bad.
Sorry.
That's okay. We just you saying things that we can't hear you. I know it's saying great things because you're the smartest man alive.
Listen to how people speak.
Yes, sir.
Say how they say the words over in your mind.
Yeah.
The accent and the expressions and the mannerisms. I would say Australia is probably the masters of playing with language. Australian slang is on a level that's above what everyone else I've seen in the world.
We'll call you stuff and you'll be left scratching your head. Was that a compliment? Or did I just get so heavily dissed that I might not have children? What's going on?
Oh, and like, okay, here's the thing I wanted to ask you, Lana, because you've been to Hawaii a lot, several times. Is it, because there's certain parts of the island, which island, I don't know, either any island, I guess, over there, that it's for the visitors, and then there's parts that's for the locals.
Yes.
Like beaches, like certain parts of the beaches and if you go over to the local area, they may just kick your ass.
It depends upon your attitude.
Okay.
If you're going there as a respectful visitor, Hawaiian culture usually is treat visitors with hospitality and respect.
Mm-hmm.
If you go over there with an attitude, you will find.
That's a mystery.
Goddamn Russians.
Goddamn Russians.
Right?
No, we didn't hear nothing. We didn't hear anything. Buddy.
North Koreans got you that time.
The last thing I heard was "you will find." And
the last thing we heard was "you will find."
You will find. Let me go and do. Hold on, just try this. There you go, and let's try doing it like. How about this? Does this work better?
Yes, that Department of Defense satellite has got good signal, mate.
Okay, so Hawaiians there's a very steep culture for how to treat guests and how to show hospitality. But if you come with an attitude, they're very quick to respond with local attitude. So tourist places, they expect tourists and they treat them as such. But if you go to local places with a little bit of respect, you'll be treated respectfully in return.
See, I know a dude the reason I bring that up is it sounds like a scene from a movie called Forgetting Sarah Marshall. It sounds like a scene, but this actually happened to my friend. He was at this hotel, right? One of the hotels on the island, and one of the staff guys was really nice to him. But he went to a party with another person over a local part of the beach, and the dude that worked at the hotel there jumped on him for being there. And like, you don't belong here, brah, and stuff like that. And so that's the reason I brought that up.
Well, again, it's a matter of your attitude as well.
My friend's a dick, so probably.
Also, you'll find in Hawaii, there is for example, there's a very wide range of Americanisms, right? From people that are the most hyper patriotic, nationalistic, to people that say I am in occupied land, and the sooner I get independent, the better, right? You have a wide range of stuff. So, but if you come there with a respectful tourist attitude, you'll be treated to amazing hospitality, right? If you think you come there and own the place, you'll find a different story. But that's typically in other places.
Okay, besides New Orleans, because we all know New Orleans is one of the most cultured cities in America. Besides New Orleans, what do you think the most cultured city is in America? Besides New Orleans.
I would say, and I would say if you want to look at variety of cuisine, San Francisco.
Okay, San Francisco's nice. It's a very nice place. I was gonna say LA maybe, but yeah, San Francisco's pretty. Cool. I love San, and I tell you what, I think I've seen every inch of San Francisco, because Landon found one of the best tour guides you could find in that area. His friend, she was amazing. She took us everywhere, and Landon made sure I seen everything and had some cool things, ate some good food, and I would definitely recommend the Bay Area. You know.
For fruit. I mean, culture-wise, in U.S., I mean, certainly New Orleans is a distinctive culture there. But I also think that if you go to a place like Chicago, you'll see a very distinctive culture.
Yeah,
if
just
you
don't
go
to
to
South Side.
Well, and you will see Boston has a very distinct culture.
Yeah.
And history and so forth.
I'm going to say Memphis, because Memphis is very, very cool. See, people think, when they think about the Deep South, they think country music and everything. Memphis is not a country music town. Memphis is a blues town, brother. No, it's blues. Memphis is a blues.
Wasn't Elvis from Memphis?
No, Elvis was born in Tupelo, Mississippi, and he lived in Memphis, yes.
Really?
But Elvis was actually inspired by the blues as much as any artist could be. So there you go. That's the reason he liked Memphis, because it was a blues town.
Well, the blues is so responsible for how great rock and roll ended up becoming.
Yeah, and blues is from Mississippi, by the way.
Yeah, I remember. I didn't forget that. You told me Chicago blues is Mississippi
blues.
Don't
even say that goddamn name to me. Chicago. There's no such thing as Chicago blues. It doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. The blues went. The people who did that went to Chicago to make money, but the blues is Mississippi blues. God damn it. Anyways.
That's the blues originated in as a distinctive music that originated in Mississippi.
And the Delta is where it originated, by the way. The Delta.
It's why it's known mainly as Delta Blues, and everyone should just stop with fucking regional names. Call it Delta Blues. That's what that shit is. It's goddamn blues. Got my guitar on my lap. Don't make me bust out some 12 bar. God damn.
He's right, because New Orleans also is part of the blues. So Delta Blues is a pretty good way of talking about it.
Well, like Galen said, that New Orleans to Memphis is the heart of American music, and that is true. From New Orleans into Mississippi to Memphis, that's where the music is, man. Period. Like he said, period. I mean, it really is. It's the heart of American music, and we've had, I bitch about my state, but I also want to brag about my state, because we've done some great things for the culture. I mean, we've had some pretty cool music come out of this goddamn place, and we've had some great authors like Faulkner, motherfucker.
Where was Motown located?
That's Detroit. That's Detroit.
That's Detroit. All right.
That's another one we could have brought up. Detroit has a lot of culture.
Yeah, Detroit. Yeah, Motown.
Oh, they have a lot of crime. Detroit has a lot of crime.
Music Motown did fucking contribute huge. Like, there's some awesome shit came out of there.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, what about cuisine? Is there a special RoboCop dish from Detroit or something?
I'm gonna tell you something. I know that the Coney, the big chili cheese dog. And that's
Coney Island dog, right?
It kind of originated out there. They're really big on chili cheese dogs. If I'm not mistaken, am I wrong, Landon?
No, that's fine. Yep.
Oh, I'm right. Okay, I think the chili cheese dog. Now, Now here's something I want to do. I haven't done yet. I want to go to Buffalo, New York, and eat buffalo wings in Buffalo. Yes.
Yep. So people have their regional stuff, but I think as far as the best music experiences I've had have been in Africa. Africa is my favorite populated continent.
Okay.
And Africa has an extraordinary variety, from the North African desert cultures to the Mediterranean to the central and southern cultures. But music there is an extraordinary experience. And I remember, for example, in places like in Botswana or Kenya, where there are people that they begin a song in some crossroads, and people will, as they approach the crossroads, because will begin to sing along with the song. They'll add their own experience to the song as they pass through the area, and then when they leave, they end. But the song is the mix of people passing through this intersection. Mm-hmm. And somebody's got a pot or something, they'll start banging and doing these extraordinary percussive sounds. But having a sound exist in a spot where people travel through, add to the song, and then move on is an extraordinary experience. But you see particularly the percussive beats that you'll see out of some of the African music that I've experienced is just, it is phenomenal what they will do if you just pay attention.
Yeah, and they also got great art too.
Absolutely.
Like if you go to any museum that has like really good art, that go to the African part of the museum, you can see some fucking, and go with me to a museum because I'll make you fucking laugh your ass off, right, Gavin? Because I make fun of every piece of art we see. And I'm gonna tell you something, I've never seen Galen laugh as much as that was the experience, one of the experiences I love the most about that trip, because I really made my friend laugh and he was really enjoying just watching. I wasn't even I wasn't live, wasn't on YouTube, wasn't making money or anything. I was just doing it to entertain my friend. And I made jokes and I put on a show for him, dude. Every piece of fucking art, especially in the African, because they got some weird shit going on. They got little statues with dicks pointing out like that right there. It's like their dick is doing a dab, It's really crazy.
Yeah. But I think
it's some beautiful art.
Africa's got best in my favorite continent. The variety. Africa's a huge continent, and the variety in Africa is quite extraordinary. Antarctica, I think, is the most beautiful continent, but there's not much people there. If you want culture, Africa's.
They had a whole lot of culture in Antarctica.
No, it sort of is the set. But it doesn't say that South America isn't great, and Australia is.
Galen says he wished he. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, go ahead.
Galen said he wished he'd recorded it. He said the video of me in that museum would have went viral. I was being pretty fucking funny though, and I really got tickled at Galen because there was this one chick, one of the people that worked in the museum. She was such a cunt. But anyways, she was a cunt. I can't help it.
In what way?
Oh, she wouldn't let us wouldn't let us fucking I was gonna take a picture of a piece of fucking art. You can't do that, and yelled at me and shit. I was like, "Whoa, bitch! I'll punch you right in your fucking vagina." I was upset, but anyways, it was funny. Speaking of art museums, because he took me to the New Orleans Museum of Art, which is a beautiful place. Where's some of the places you've been, Landon? Because I know you like art that had the best museums, the best art museums.
I mean, I really liked the Aboriginal museum they had in Canberra. It's got a really great collection of the Indigenous peoples of Australia. I think, however, if you talk about art museums, certainly Paris would be something, like the d'Orsay Museum in Paris, the Rijksmuseum in Amsterdam, Hermitage, St. Petersburg, are museums that you could spend weeks in.
Okay. Let's say about people who can't get out of country, can't visit out of country. What's some local fucking museums that'll go? I definitely recommend the New Orleans Museum of Art. I definitely recommend that place. It's beautiful.
I would also say in DC the NASA National Air and Space Museum is to
them goddamn Russians.
which is a the East Wing Gallery, modern art on Washington is also a great place.
Okay.
I mean, yes, there's lots of great places in there, but I'm thinking about spots that you may not have gone to that you should.
Okay. Galen says the best art museums: London, Paris, Rome, Washington D.C., and Boston. Best museums, best art museums.
I would say the Tate in London, the new and old Tates are great museums to go to. If you want to see the most stolen of art, go to the British Museum.
Was it the Russian or the China that hacked your fucking system?
It was
Sorry.
actually this time. It was the French.
French. This is not really an art museum, but one of the coolest museums I've ever been to was in Pensacola, at the Air Force Museum.
Oh yeah,
that was a cool fucking place, dude. It was a cool place. I really enjoyed. There's this one part of the museum that's got a store that was based back in those days, and it seems so real. It's like everything is priced that way, but you can't actually buy this stuff. You can't buy a fucking Coke for 5 cents, but it was just so cool. It was so cool. It was a great museum.
I went to Mobile, Alabama a few years ago with my grandfather, and they converted this old like a war
The battleship.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been on it.
Wasn't that shit cool, dude? They
Yeah.
converted it into a museum and kind of let you experience how life was on the ship, and that thing seemed battle and everything. It's really
cool.
Cool.
Yeah. The only sad thing about that, it's in the state of Alabama.
Yeah.
Alabama, I do not suggest anybody go to Alabama and visit anything. The state fucking sucks. Anyways, don't get me started. No, there's some cool stuff in Alabama to visit. Like the battleship in Alabama is fucking, I'm glad you brought that up because it's an absolute awesome fucking
I recommend that. If you get stuck in Alabama for whatever reason, definitely go check that out because it's really fucking cool.
Yeah, but fuck Alabama. I agree with David. Fuck Alabama. Landon will say fuck Alabama too. He doesn't like Alabama either. Nobody likes Alabama. It's the asshole of America.
What if I said I liked it?
I would say fuck you in your face.
Well, I don't. I've never been there, so I can't say I like it or hate it.
It's the asshole of America. It's America's butthole is what it is.
It really does it wipe?
No.
Oh.
It's awful. Galen says Georgia is worse.
I agree, actually.
I don't agree with that statement.
The fucking people here are the worst part about this state.
And the thing about it is, they call Alabama and Mississippi the twin states. We're not like Alabama, you motherfuckers. They call them the twin states because it looks basically the same on the map. It just turn around backwards or some shit like that. But fuck that. So what's besides New Orleans and Mississippi? Mississippi's not really on the list. What's the best southern states you've been to that you enjoyed the most, Landon?
Well, I think for variety.
Marshall.
Man, it's such a bummer because I really want to hear what he has to say, and he just disappears.
In the northern part of Florida.
Florida? Okay.
Northern part.
You gapped out again, so we didn't hear it.
Sorry. One of the reasons why my network connection is having problems is that we're monitoring a situation in Kilauea where there's been a major explosion at the summit.
Oh, yeah.
We're trying to determine what's happening there. Large ash cloud with ash falling in nearby communities, and we're trying to figure out what happened.
Oh, we understand.
I apologize.
No, we understand.
No, it's totally fine.
Yeah, you that's your work, man. You're doing your work. That's a place I wouldn't suggest visit right now. I don't think that should be on your visitation spot at the moment, anyways.
We're seeing ash.
Okay.
Dead air.
Yeah. I'm trying to listen to what he says, but he goes, Daddy, his internet's having issues because of what he said, y'all. So if he gaps out and you bitch about it, I will stab you in your fucking throat.
So the ash cloud in Kilauea,
Yes, sir.
you got that, is reaching at 35,000 feet right now.
Holy shit.
So it's about 10 kilometers, 11 kilometers in the air so far.
Damn. That's pretty big. Yeah, that's definitely a place I wouldn't want to visit right now.
Wow, Hawaii, stop all with the global warming, man.
So anyways, we're going to go ahead and go a little early into the Q&A and tip session and remind you guys that the flag is still ready. If you want to make a tip bid on that thing, go ahead and do it. It's at right now the current price is at $1,323.50. Now you ask questions also. Please tip too, just regular if you want to tip. Now Galen had a question for you, Mr. Landon. He said, "Are you all right with wait a minute? All right with them using Puerto Rico as a testing site or some shit like that?"
There's a bomb site. He wants to bomb Puerto Rico.
He wants to bomb Puerto Rico.
The U.S. uses lots of places for bomb sites. There's a bunch of Hawaiians that are upset with some small islands that get bombed on a regular basis, too. So we seem to bomb our several of our islands, including states.
Well,
there's Alaskan Aleutian spots that get bombed on a regular basis for practice.
I think they should use Alabama for that, actually.
Well, it's more convenient.
And I can tell you an exact address to bomb. I'm joking. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Rachel. I was just playing.
Dude, the warhead needs to fall on this house.
On this house. My ex-wife right there. That's the reason I hate Alabama, by the way, is my ex-wife. Anyways.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. It's just a legend. Anyways, that's been years ago. I have no issues with Rachel. She's cool.
As long as she stays in Alabama.
As long as she stays there, then she's crazy. Fuck, dude. She sent me 48 messages one day.
So they are advising that people not visit the park right now. There are refrigerator-sized boulders falling from the sky.
Fuck, dude.
And you don't want to be under one of them?
No. I wouldn't suggest it.
You think it's a volcano?
It is.
Well, yes, of course it is.
It is a volcano.
I'm like, the only thing bigger than that could be a nuke.
Yeah, it's a volcano. That's what it is.
That's the crab people they're finally invading.
Yeah. Ever going to get remarried to her, John? Absolutely not. The only thing I miss about her is the oral sex. She was really good at that stuff.
Mouth hugs.
So she wants to come give me one of those mouth hugs again. She's welcome, but just don't talk to me.
Well, she can't talk with her mouth full, can she?
Well, with me, her mouth is not full. The Raisin Girl just put the tip jar link in there. There you go. You need to do that. Do what Raisin said to do, because Raisin's a smart girl. Yeah, I need to tip. I want to see some tips. Some tips. Tips.
Put the tip in.
Just the tip.
Yeah, just the tip.
So a tip I recommend is travel. Do your homework.
Be nice to your mother.
Yeah.
And if you can find a local to help guide you around, you'll learn a lot more than just the tourist spots.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's good. Good advice. Good advice.
Pay attention to how people do things.
More good advice. And have sex with as many AIDS-infested crack whores as you can. Right?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
What could possibly go wrong?
So what is the one place you would like to go to that you haven't visited?
Oh yeah, definitely Italy for me. Japan, Italy or Japan.
Yeah, I'd say Japan.
Yeah, I'd like to visit Japan. That'd be pretty cool. I'd spend a lot of time in the toy shops looking for certain spaceships.
Yeah, they have lots of shops that are just figurines.
Yeah, in the Tokyo rail station, Mike's fiance was telling me about it. She said, I wouldn't have gotten you out of the train station if I took you to Japan. I just would have left you there and come back each day and left food next to you. And I would have stayed. She reckoned I would have been in there for a week and I wouldn't have even noticed the passage of time. She said because I love this show, Space Battleship Yamato, and I've got a 5-inch version of it on my desktop. They have 2 meters, like 30, 60, 90, you name it. It's up to 2 meters was the longest one, I think, like retardedly big, to the point where it's like a submersible model where you can fly it around in your pool like it's out in space. It's just fucking insane. And every single figurine from every cartoon you can imagine that you loved when you were a kid, they're there in these shops. And Star Wars figurines make the Western shops look lame. Apparently, they have shit that we've never seen.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Oh, by the way, I do want to announce Fan Fridays tomorrow. Fan Friday. Fan Friday is different from the regular week show, from the regular shows during the week. It's more just bringing on fans, shooting the shit with them. It's not really a topical show. It's just, me having fun with the friends. I do know that Gage is going to be on. Anybody in the chat room right now that wants to be on, let me know, and I'll try to bring you on. Marshall, want to come on tomorrow?
I might be able to. I'll let you know before tonight.
Oh, okay. Check your busy fucking schedule, Mr. Busy Man. Anyways, that's...
Yes, and Patreons, of course, get first go at this.
Yeah, absolutely. Friday. I was just, that's right. That's right. Absolutely. Patreons do get, Patreons do absolutely get more credit in that area. And if there's also a perk on Patreon where you come on the regular show and be on with guests and stuff. And you can be on like I said, next week we got Magog coming on. We eventually got Mercedes Carrera come on. That's a pretty big guest there. The Humanist Report's coming on. And I'm working on some other people. So if you become get that perk on Patreon, you can hang out with some pretty cool people. Kiss John's ass and you get on. Yes,
if you.
What, buddy? We didn't hear you.
Fucking Russians.
Oh, I hate
Russians get access to Discord.
We didn't hear you, bud.
Yeah, I think that was the dollar and more on Patreon. You get to join us on Discord for the shenanigans as well.
Absolutely, $1 or more. It's $1. Do you spend more than that on fucking bubblegum these days? It's $1 a month. So if you want to be on Discord, hang out. There you go. That's good stuff there. Also, like I said, Fan Friday's up tomorrow. We're going to bring Luna. I'm going to get Luna on again. Luna's going to be on. Yes, she is. Luna, Gage. There's Sexy Sauce up in there. I named her that too, by the way. Kimmy there. Kim, I named her Sexy Sauce a while back because she is sexy. Fuck. Anyway, so she wants to come on. She can come on. So, yeah, and definitely kiss my ass, like Galen said. You can come on. But Patreons do get, Patreons do get the first chance to come on. I'm glad Red Eye said that because that's a good point. And that means any amount of Patreon there, $1 or above. If you're a Patreon, you get, I notice you first to come on the show.
Priority.
That's the word I was looking for. Fuck. I could not get the word in my goddamn head. Priority is yes.
That's why I'm paid the big dollars, mate.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I get a pay rise now?
Yes. And if you noticed, I've been bringing Red Eye out a lot because I like to have somebody there that's on there like a lot with me that where they can kind of catch on and help me out. Like Shayra was, Shayra used to do it, and Shayra's got some stuff going on, so she can't do it right now. So what we're gonna make Red Eye do, because everybody loves Shayra, so what we're gonna have to get Red Eye do is get a boob job and shave half his head.
Yeah, and I'm going to be the most disappointing fucking Shayra simulant you've ever seen. It's like this. It's not going to be pretty. I'll try my best, though. But I am looking forward to the boot job. I'm going to play with those things all day.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, Discord is good.
It is good. It's a fun place. Fun place. And we're going to create more channels. We're going to create there's going to be, we're going to create a Patreon. There maybe already be the Patreon thing on there. But that, pretty soon I'm going to be going on there and it's for a certain amount of pay, like a certain perk that if you pay that much, you get to go in there and we do some stuff like maybe watch videos, read articles, whatever. And yeah.
Right now, if you become a patron, you can see images of the Kilauea eruption.
Yeah,
right?
There you go.
I will, it'll take me a few hours to upload what's just happened, but you'll see it there first if you become a patron of Pimpmunk.
Yeah. I fired Shayra. No, I did not. I wish Shayra would come back. I love Shayra. Shayra's I'll eat her vagina.
Do you really think Pimp would rather work with me than Shayra? Come on, let's be objectively honest. It's like I'd rather see Shayra back.
I would, yeah, I'd definitely rather see Shayra back. But we do got Marshall. He's pretty.
I just noticed you got the fucking soundproof shit in the back.
Yeah.
Stops the wall from looking so empty.
Yeah, I put something because after we took the flag down, it just looked too empty. And I had one person up here complaining about that yesterday. I don't like that black stuff. I don't give a fuck. That's what's up there right now.
Well, you know what you can do. You can buy Pimp some of the really colourful stuff, and we'll do a pretty picture out of the sound foam. How's that sound?
Yeah, and if anybody wants to do a fucking, we're gonna build a Pimp flag though. You can do that actually on that site that sells the t-shirts now. You can actually make flags too. So
there's a site where I got my Kekistan flag from. Surely if we did an order we get a certain minimum amount, there's got to be sites where we could go with a basic design, say black on white or white, and a white flag with whatever color you want with just your basic design. We'd probably be able to get one done as merch.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking. Absolutely. Absolutely. By the way, speaking of the Patreon, earlier, once that Patreon gets to 1,000 a month, there will be a 24-hour 24-hour show.
The Torture Spectacular.
Yeah, the Torture Spectacular. All day long, basically. Yeah, but anyways, once we get to $1,000, that will be happening. I'll bring on all kinds of guests and just celebrate and thank you and all that good shit. Landon Galen asked a question. Landon saw Shayra. How was that, Landon? Give us an update.
Shayra was doing fine. I had a great dinner with her husband, daughter. She sends her regards. She regrets not being able to participate in the show, but for those people, know it's nothing to do with Pimpmunk.
Yeah.
Galen knows.
Yeah.
But yeah. I think it's probably best just to say she wants to be here and she regrets not being able to be here.
Yeah, Shayra wants to be on, but she just really can't right now, and it's understandable. And it's like some people was trying to make the Pimp did something to Shayra. No issues whatsoever between me and Shayra.
Yeah, listen, if you know anything about Pimp and Shayra, you go back and have a look at the first Pimpmunk shows and guess who's on them. It's like she's been a part of the family for a while. So
yeah, Shayra's like my sister, dude. Yeah, absolutely.
Any rumors about Pimp and Shayra having issues is no, sorry.
No, it's not happening.
So she sends her best fond regards and regrets that she's not able to participate. But
love me some Shayra. She's awesome.
Yeah, amazing person.
Family. That's a great family right there.
Yeah, we had a great time talking with your husband and daughter, all kinds of cool stuff with my niece as well. It was by the way,
fucking Russians.
It's always when I want to hear what he's going to say.
Yeah, you broke up, Gabe. Orlando, sorry.
Damn.
Fucking Italians.
Why did that fucking volcano have to go off now of all times?
It's a goddamn volcano. Fuck that volcano on the butt right there. I'm gonna tell you right now.
God damn it.
Sorry.
That's okay. Fuck that volcano on the butt though.
But anyway, we remember Pimpmunk. You went to Lacosho.
Yeah.
That's where we took Shiro and his farmer from it.
Okay, that's a good place. Good place. A very good place.
Even Galen had good things to say about it.
Yeah, Galen's an asshole though.
Yeah, and got to catch up with Dee. And don't worry, I'm not going to mention any other names, but we did get to briefly speak with a individual that likes guitars. I'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
I won't do any name dropping because I don't think they'd want that. So yeah, but seeing Dee again, I got to briefly lose my shit when Dee was in the same room as Len, and he was on Discord for a moment. So it was really good to catch up with Dee. I miss you, you son of a bitch.
I don't miss you, you son of a bitch. I love Dee. Dee's good.
Dee is his health is in good shape. He's doing very, very well, and sends his regards.
Fuck Dee. I'm joking, of course. I like Dee.
I think he may even be in the sort of vicinity of might be having a girlfriend, kind of, sort of. Dee
is experiencing life.
Yeah. He's growing up now, isn't it? Oh, I'm so proud of Dee.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Dee's fucking Dee is good people. That's fucking absolutely.
And you also got to see Larry, and I love Larry too. Even though Larry don't love me, no, I'm joking. I'm glad you got to see Larry as well.
I mean, Larry is a great hugger.
Yeah, he's a big dude. Big.
When you've been hugged by Larry, you've been hugged.
Absolutely.
I think he is the good thing. Larry is back at work.
Yeah.
Well, he's not driving a forklift. He's back at work at a really good position that can accommodate his current abilities. Larry has had to prioritize things other than social media.
Yeah.
So he's not on there. He's got a family. He's got an amazing person who's going to come and live with him. He's got an active job. He's come back from the brink of disaster, and things are working well for him. He just cannot prioritize social media at this time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard from him briefly, and he's doing all right. So I'm trying to catch up with him in a hangout, but he's like Landon just said, he's not prioritizing social media, and that's probably why he's improving so rapidly. He's like fucking off the internet. It's like probably something we should all try once in a while. Let's get out and have a walk, maybe.
His health is better, and the job that he was given really works well.
Yeah.
For him.
That's good.
So things are looking up for him.
That's good. That's real good. I'm proud. My dick's looking up too. Straight to the desk right now.
Again, he sends his regards. No bad feelings. He's just has to focus on life at the moment, and he's doing well.
Absolutely. I'm glad. I have an erection over you, Landon.
Wow.
Yeah. My erection is for you, Landon. Landon doesn't care about my erection.
Hashtag Landon's having a press conference tomorrow. Hashtag him too.
I am glad everybody's doing well. I'm glad you get to see all those people. It's very cool. I love getting to see people. I'm going to get to see I'm going to see Landon next month. Yay!
Yay.
That's my favorite. One of my favorite people on earth is Landon. No, I'm not made that any secret at all. I love Landon. He's one of my favorite people, and I do actually get to hang out with him next month a little bit. He's coming out to Anaheim as well when I'm out there for VidCon, and that's going to be very cool. I'm sure we'll go somewhere good to eat. I want to go to that Gump place.
Yeah, bubblegum. But we there's the YouTube is a wuss flag.
Yes.
That I hope to sign.
Yes, Landon's also going to be signing the YouTube is a wuss flag, which is a natural tobacco. It's all legal, completely legal natural tobacco flag they used to hang up there. Getting Landon to sign it. Ben and Billy's going to sign it. I'm pretty sure I'm going to get Boogie to sign it and get other YouTubers. Any YouTuber I meet, I'm going to get them to sign it. And there's the current amount that's been given for the flag is $1,323.50. Now, Finn has said that today he was going to raise that pretty high. The amount he said he was going to give is pretty large. So y'all better be trying to beat that motherfucker. Just beat him. But it's been fun and it's been a good show today. I want to talk about traveling because I know Landon just got back from a trip. He travels all the time, and I knew it'd be good for the show.
So next is Anaheim. Next big trip for me is Pitcairn Island.
Okay.
If you read about the famous Captain Bligh and the mutiny on the Bounty,
yep,
this is one of the places where the mutineers hid out. And we'll get to spend several days with the relatives of those people.
Yes, the descendants are there to this day.
And poor Australia got inflicted because that's where Bligh went for a while until the British military threatened to execute him because he was such a
pompous jackass.
Well, my next trip is, of course, Anaheim. I want to get to Amarillo at one point in Texas before, and I don't know. Maybe I may go somewhere if a business thing comes up or something. I may after Amarillo, but then I know I'm going to Green Bay in November. So,
yeah,
gonna freeze my katukas off.
Who is Green Bay going to beat?
Miami Dolphins. They're gonna beat the Miami Dolphins, and I'm gonna watch it in the stadium, and I'm gonna have fun. Probably gonna jerk off in the cold air.
Maybe a video or two from there.
Oh, there'll definitely be videos, streaming and videos. And
might you yell or get excited?
I may even paint my face.
I hope we see a really big brawl with Pimp at the center of it, beating the shit out of all the fucking Dolphins fans, just hulking the fuck out with that painted face.
Well, that's gonna be fun. The cool thing is Lambeau Field is one of the most legendary fields in football.
Yeah,
it's the frozen tundra.
I'm going to go so far as to say I want you to put the challenge out there to a Florida man, and we're going to change this to a Mississippi man took on a fucking whole stadium full of Dolphins fans at a game. That's it. Try the challenge down.
Choke a motherfucker out. But anyways, thank you guys for watching. It's been a great show. Make sure you tune in tomorrow for Fan Friday. We'll have some people on, and it's going to be cute. Thank you, Landon, for joining us. Thank you, Marshall. Thank you, Red.
No worries.
Sorry for the connection problems.
Not a problem.
It's all good.
It's all good. That fucking volcano can kiss my ass. But I'll see you guys tomorrow, man. Later.